Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Monday Market Coin Report, okay, featuring some of the finest post-1900 modern coins that you could possibly ever imagine. All right, so this is for the week ending August 30th, 2020. It is what I would consider to be the final Monday Market Report of the summer. Okay, so summer doesn't officially end for a few more weeks, but I figure you guys should know that there is just an overabundance of investor money just simply flowing through a lot of the high-end power coins. Okay, we're going to feature quite a few of them on this list, believe it or not. This will just give you an idea of not only the insane activity on some of the coins featured here, but it also give you guys an idea that there are people that when they have the inventory, that they have these collectibles, they are actually moving forward with some sort of consignment or sale. So that's important. People are beginning to take advantage of the market, and they're simply cashing out. Okay, whether or not it's a wise idea, I suppose if you're going to strike while the iron's hot, now's the time, right? So we're seeing incredible gains on some of these coins. Some of the coins that traditionally a lot of the armchair collectors, like probably you or I would say 99.9% of my listeners don't traditionally gravitate toward a $60,000 coin just on a whim, but it does give you guys an idea of just overall swings from coins that are $500 to $1,000 to coins as high as 5 or 6 figures. There is a lot of activity on the secondary market that you guys do need to know about, especially if you have coins you're looking to move, you're looking to make more money today than you did 6 months ago. All right, it might be all good stuff. So, I wanted to take some time to let you guys know that I appreciate all of the views and support that you've given me over the months and years. Greatly appreciative. It's only because of you guys that I have reached 150,000 subscribers. It seems a little slow, I know, considering that my channel is about 10 years old, and probably I should have been there 5 years ago, but that doesn't mean anything because the most important people are you folks that are watching at home. Whether you hit that subscribe button or not, I would love the endorsement, but at the very least, you're giving me your support with simply your view. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe the content for today. Let me know what you guys think about what's happening in the market. It is simply incredible, and there's no other way, no other words to describe what exactly is going on. All right, so we're going to go ahead and kick it off with, usually I like to throw in one notable eBay sale out of the bunch, and it's going to be this 1954 S Roosevelt dime. It's a kind of odd inclusion on the list, only because there are, I would say, a lot more worthy coins, okay? There's a high-profile Lincoln cent, a Jefferson nickel with full steps that usually we don't see, or perhaps some other denomination of coin, but very rarely do I get to throw up an eBay Roosevelt dime sale. This one right here just looks like a pedestrian 1954 S Roosevelt dime. It's a very common date in spite of its mintage and mint mark. Now the coin is undeniably beautiful. It's got some of that fresh looking toning on not only the obverse, but more so on the reverse. It's just a really pretty coin. Now this one right here is a Pcgs Mid-State 67 Plus full bands. This one sold on eBay August 17th of 2020 in an amount of $1,400. Okay, it's also worth mentioning that this was sold by eBay seller Common Sense Rare Coins LLC. In case you guys wanted to check out his or her wares on there. But this is such a pretty coin, and the biggest reason why I'm putting this on here is that we're seeing the market volatility, just as huge upswings, even affect coins that some would say are, on the lower side of the collectability range. Roosevelt dimes have been like that for a number of years, and I feel like as kind of like a lesser expensive alternative to some of those Chase Lincoln cents and Jefferson nickels, we're beginning to see coins like this, kind of like that second tier group of coins that people are starting to gravitate towards based on dollar value alone. All right, so this is an absolute bomb of a coin, a very beautiful piece at that. Probably more well suited for a registry set through PCGS or NGC, but I wanted to go ahead and headline the video with this coin on eBay. Outstanding. Congrats to not only the seller, but the buyer as well. Beautiful coin. All right, so the rest of the broadcasts are all coins that were featured and sold on great collections. Okay, tonight's the last night for this past 7-day auction. We're going to go ahead and highlight it from the lowest denomination all the way up to the highest. Okay, now last week we featured nothing but Lincoln cents and Jefferson nickels. Okay, there might have been a few Buffalo nickels, but that's how stacked these lists get. Now this week I'm a little bit more selective. Okay, we're going to choose, some finer coins out of each denomination. It is kind of headlined by Lincoln cents, I'm not going to lie. There are undeniably more on the list than any other denomination, but we're going to hit up all of them for U.S. coins. Okay, so the first one I've talked about before, it's a 1990 S. This is indeed a San Francisco minted proof Lincoln cent, but this is kind of that rare variety that I keep talking about. Check your proof sets for the 1990 Lincoln cents that are missing the mint mark. There's supposed to be an S mint mark under the date for this coin, okay? And if it's missing, congratulations. That's a heck of a payday, guys. So this is a PCGS Proof 68 Deep Cameo. It's got beautiful Cameo frosty devices, offset by the very deep, dark, mirrored fields that you see here. No S variety, as notated on the PCGS slab label. This one sold for $3,487.50. Quite the stout sale. I believe 68s used to sell in that $2,800, $2,900 range. But again, it's just showing you guys just the overall dynamic of the market. People are dumping more money. Investors certainly have their hand in a lot of these. All right, so the next one here, of course, is going to be one of those coins that we opt to find. Okay, this is kind of like our dream find. I've talked to people not only on YouTube, but also through like Facebook. The 1969S doubled die obverse is a coin that people dream about. They'll sleep their normal 8 hours or 10 hours or whatever. And they'll reach out to me and say, hey, you know what, Sean, Blue Ridge, I had a dream that I got a box and found the 69S. Okay, it can be a reality. These are extremely tough though. But this coin right here in this grade, PCGS AU53, is more probably along the lines of the condition that you will find, or when you encounter one of these coins. So at first glance, it will fool you. But if you looked at the motto, "In God We Trust," Liberty, and even the date, this has everything that you ever want to look for in what is considered a mini lottery find. There's no other way to describe it. This is like hitting a small jackpot. Now this one right here is also CAC certified. It's sold for $16,425. Okay, there's a lot that people can do with that kind of money, especially this day and age with the virus going around. People are out of work. This is a huge amount of money, and we are seeing more people trying to source some of these coins. Good luck trying to find some bank rolls and boxes. All right, they're kind of a hot commodity these days, so keep that in mind. All right, so what we have here is just an overall pleasing 1949 Lincoln wheat cent. All right, it's a very high grade coin. It's an NGC Mint State 67 full red. This is obviously a registry set purchase. Okay, this is going to be one of those that's going to bolster the point system in someone's high-end registry set. This one right here is sold for $1,013.62. I would say it's probably the least expensive coin on the list. Comparatively, we have a 44D. Now, the 44D is one of the most common dates that you'll find, even in some of the highest grades. Okay, don't get me wrong. It's a beautiful coin. It's a wartime type piece. It's just, there's not a whole lot to talk about. Finding one in mint state full red is not hard at all. But finding one that grades this high is a huge challenge. All right, it's a mint state 68 full red by NGC. And a shocker, this one sold for $2,700. 1944D is one of the most plentiful, highest mintage Lincoln cents of the past 70 years. Well, in addition to the 44D, this is a coin right here that, because of its composition, has gone on to live as one of the folkloriest of coins. The zinc-coated steel cent, of course, is a coin that very seldomly is found in change, but these appear all over the secondary market in a wide range of grades. Finding one for maybe a typeset or a Lincoln cent album set in high grades is not hard at all. You could find like a Mint State 66 for around 25 bucks. So they are affordable on the secondary market, but it's only when you get to Mint State 68 that the game's changed. Now this one is CAC certified, all right, much like all the other ones I've noted in the past. And this one sold for $2,661.75. Again, $2,500 to $3,000 seems to be the going rate for not only the San Francisco, but the Denver and Philly as well. Okay, there are some variances. These are always going to be a hot coin. You buy one today, you're more than guaranteed that you're going to get your money back in 5 years when you're ready to move on from this coin in your collection. It's pretty much a safe investment, a really safe bet. Okay, so here's probably one of the tougher dates of Lincoln cents that I've seen in quite a while. I've highlighted 31S's, I've highlighted 33s, but very rarely do I ever come across a Philadelphia struck 1932. Okay, they're just not out there in quite the quantities that you or I think. Now this one right here is a PCGS Mint State 67 red. It's one of the finest known. CAC certified, a gem, and more than likely this is purchased up to become a part of a high profile registry set. So one day, if you're lurking through PCGS's website, you're checking out the registry sets on tap, then you'll probably see this one in a few months. But anyways, this one right here is sold for $2,149.50. All right, so we're going to wrap up Lincoln cents with quite possibly one of the most insane, I guess, that's probably the wrong word to describe it, but this 1925D in this state of preservation is virtually unheard of. Okay, it's a true rarity, especially finding one that's full red. Typically with these coins, they have the poor crappy strike that most oftentimes they're either brown or red brown, so they have changed color up to this point. Now, to keep in mind, the coin is like nearly 100 years old, and these were struck during a time where the nation was in a Great Depression. So coins were being used, they were being abused. Very seldom were they kept in this kind of condition, and that's why this Mint State 66 red sold for a kingly sum of $62,437.50. That seems like a lot of money, and it's probably well deserved of every single penny, just because of how rare one is of this. Not only this numerical grade, but the mere fact that it's a full red and it looks the part. This is a truly phenomenal looking coin. I have a kind of like a sneaky suspicion that investors were kind of battling to own this coin. It's just an incredibly tough and very rare coin in this particular grade. All right, so we do have a few nickels, not nearly as much as last week, but this is the only Jefferson on the list, I believe. Let me double check here. It sure is. So this is a Sunset Collection 120, okay, which Great Collections are hosting this huge collection that goes on for many months. This is a 1956 D Jefferson Nickel, okay, date-wise, Midmark-wise. It's not incredibly rare, okay, to find, especially in high grades. Can be had for, a few bucks if you wanted to, if you just need one for your Jefferson Nickel set. But this one right here, again, extremely difficult to find with full steps. It's a 66 plus through PCGS. It's even got a QA certification being on there, which is kind of like CAC, but this is more for the moderns. So how much did this one sell for? $5,906.25. Crazy amount of money. But again, we're talking one of the more difficult full steps coins to find out there today. Buffalo nickels. There were a ton of them. Okay, not only that, on Great Collections, there were a number of them. I don't know if it's all from like one collection or one registry set that finally got dissolved, but there was a lot of them that sold in excess of 5 figures. This one right here was a very nice coin. I don't think this was part of the registry set, but it's worth talking about because it is one of the chase varieties out there. The 1937 D 3-legged buffalo, as you can see on the reverse. Poor old Black Diamond's missing a leg, but he's standing just fine because this coin has all the legs. Okay, no pun intended, right? Bad jokes aside, this coin is fantastic. Pcgs Mint State 64, just a truly awesome coin. Sold for $6,018.75. Just an overall pleasing original coin. 1930 Buffalo Nickel. Now, it's a Philadelphia struck coin, which says a lot because it's very available in all grades, with exception of whatever this one is. It's a Mint State 67 plus, which is just huge. Okay, it's also CAC certified. The coin is just straight up beautiful. 1930 is what I would regard to be, I would say it's one of the earliest Buffalo nickel dates where the population of like higher nice grade coins still exists in both raw and also graded. Okay, you could kind of find a best of both worlds with this particular date in Midmark. Okay, it's when you get into like the 20s where things just get really difficult, all right, as far as being able to locate and source one for your collection in Mint State becomes more difficult prior to 1930. So this one right here, Mint State 67 plus, CAC certified, that's important. Sold for $12,937.50. I believe this is also a top pop grade. Now, speaking of kind of like nobody saw this coming, end quote, quote unquote, how about 1915 Philadelphia Buffalo Nickel? No, it's not a matte proof or anything like that. This is certainly a business strike coin. However, this coin right here is probably one of the single finest. As a matter of fact, this is the single finest graded by PCGS for the date. But we're talking an entire decade. The teens of Buffalo Nickels are, they're one of the toughest to find. If you're looking for a specific grade, let's say Mint State 65, of every Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco minted coin of the teens, you are going to be shelling out some big bucks. Now, this one right here, no, you didn't read that wrong. It says Mint State 68. This thing is 2 points away from being perfect. I don't see a lot going on with it. I think it warrants that grade for the age. This one right here sold for $71,611.88. Now, I don't typically talk about these high dollar coins this way, but again, this is just a testament to how active the investor market, the money just shifting and moving, and it's like quicksand out there that just continues to rise, and it's engulfing all of the good stuff. This is another one here that probably sold for maybe 25% more of what it's worth. I mean, geez. This is a coin of the ages right here. Very rarely do you get to see a Mint State 68 teens Buffalo Nickel, but tonight, there you go, guys. One for you. Okay, so here's one of my favorites. I've found a number of these over the years. Nothing quite nice like this, but it's a 1945 Micro S Midmark. So the U.S. Mint, decided to do a little bit of a variant on the Midmark. Probably a switchover change of the Midmark styles has facilitated some sort of change in also the size. It's tiny. But this one right here, of course, is the best representative grade of the type, a Mint State 67 full bands example. Just an absolute monster of a coin for a Mercury dime enthusiast. But this one right here sold for $2,181.16. So here's another Mercury, 1930 this time. This coin is on kind of like that same level is that 1930 Buffalo nickel. All right, it's probably one of the earliest dates of mercury dimes that you'll find. We're finding a high-grade specimen is not as difficult as you would think. Okay, when you get into the 20s and the teens, it's game over. Okay, you either shell out big bucks for a mint state 64 or 65 full bands, or you're out of the picture. It's a very challenging set. But this one right here, it's a great looking grade, mint state 66 full bands, and it shows CAC certified. And this one sold for $2,418.75. Okay, so we are close to being done. But before we shove off for the day, we have a couple washed in quarters. So the first one we have here is the final date of the silver type, 1964, Philadelphia. It's very colorful. You know, this is a very nice pastel-y type toned coin, on both sides, which is kind of nice. This is a PCGS Mid-State 67, and this one brought home $1,350. Again, 64s of this date do exist quite a bit, and the color on the coin gave it kind of like the extra appeal. PCGS probably bumped it an extra point just because of its luminance. So here's one of the more difficult Washington quarters. Believe it or not, it's a 60s Washington. It's a 61D. Just check your price guides. In grades above 66, these are kind of a rarity. This one is a mid-state 67, and this one sold for $2,925. It's got a little bit of dark, very black terminal-like toning on the obverse. Not particularly my favorite. This might have been kind of like an end of roll coin. It's hard to say. But there you go. Another nice high-end type coin, believe it or not, one of the more expensive ones out there. 57D. This one right here, most notable because of its original toning, not only on the obverse, which is subtle at best, but the reverse simply looks phenomenal. This one right here is a PCGS Mid-State 67 Plus, CAC certified. Probably will end up in a registry set like the previous two coins. This one sold for $1,580.62 with the toning. And then finally, probably one of the least likely coins that you'll see close the Monday market report, a 47S. It's not a 32D or a 32S. It's not a Standing Liberty quarter. It's a 47S with some splashy kind of like mixy toning on there on both sides. Very irregular. Not everybody's cup of tea. But this one, Mint State 68. You just can't get any better than that. Now, the 1940s traditionally have some pretty good strikes. All right, so there's a lot of coins in the 40s where you could find 67s, Mint State 67 Plus. And then finally 68, which are few and far between, but I think the great combination of not only the date and the mint on this one, along with little splashes of toning and the grade, is really what this one is all about. Now this one right here sold for $6,243.75. Truly remarkable looking coin. Again, I have a feeling that this is probably a registry set type example. But that's going to go ahead and kind of close out the Monday market report for this week. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. It was hard to pick just my top 18. I filled up a whole stat sheet with 18 coins, did some little notes and all that great stuff. I encourage you guys to check out some of the closed sales for the past 7 days, or better yet, for like the past 30 days. And you could almost see kind of like a moving bar graph line that's going like straight up. Like, for instance, take a look at the Buffalo Nickels section of this week's Great Collections sold items, and you're just going to be blown away by what you see. No kidding. I mean, check it out if you got some time. That's a sign of the times. I don't think it was nearly as volatile as it was back in 2009 and 2010, where people were still doing the same thing. I think this day and age, 10 years later, people have more money, but it's the investors that have more money. It's not necessarily folks like you or I. You might have the kind of like that one coin that might be worthy of a sale. But, you know, I'll be honest, I'm not the type of guy that has like $100,000 to just go and spend on coins. Granted, it's a very safe haven type of investment. It's very liquid on the secondary market. You're going to have no problem selling these and getting your money back when it's time. It's so dumbfounding, the amount of money that's just floating out there. I'm seriously looking forward to the Long Beach sale on Heritage and, you know, the Stack Sparrows one. It should be pretty interesting because they're going to have coins there that are like $500,000, $1 million plus. It's going to be interesting to see what's consigned. You could probably go on there right now and just take a gander at some of the coins that are going to be for sale in a few weeks. So I want to thank you guys for joining. Sorry to keep it so long. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Appreciate you guys taking your time out of your either Sunday night or Monday morning. Whatever happens, hopefully you guys don't work so hard on your Monday and that you guys take it easy. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know, that would be awesome. If you haven't done so already, please do that. And you guys stay safe. You and your family stay safe. You guys have fun searching and hunting for your next chase piece. Should be a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm beginning to see some coins out in the banking system. Kind of crazy that it's taken this long. But that's going to go ahead and do it. So until next time, guys, we are hunting together. We are discovering together. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.